AITA for asking my boyfriend to cut ties with his female best friend. I am 29 female and I have been dating my boyfriend Thomas 28 male for 2 years. We were friends for 7 years before we started dating. Thomas has a female best friend called Marie 27 female, and I am not comfortable with their friendship, so I asked Thomas to stop having contacts with her and he got mad and told me I was manipulative. Background: I was friends with Thomas for a long time. Suddenly, he met Marie and they quickly became best friends. They were always together and she called them platonic soulmates. I already didn't like her back then. It was almost impossible to see Thomas without Marie. Something like 5 years ago, Marie moved to another city, 4 hours away by train from our city. She almost convinced Thomas to follow her, but he ended up staying, mainly for his family and his brother. It was great to spend time with Thomas without her. He slowly lost contact with Marie, then COVID happened and they stopped talking. He never had the chance to visit her in her new city. Like I said, I started dating Thomas 2 years ago. I confess that I had a crush on him for a long time, and he gave me a chance. We're doing great and we have been living together for over a year. I want to marry him one day and I think he wants the tame. But this summer Marie contacted Thomas again, when she was in our city to visit her family. Thomas went to see her. Even if I didn't like it, I said nothing because I know that he really missed her. I didn't see her. Since then, they're calling each other from time to time. Thomas is always happy after talking to her, so I still didn't say anything. Marie is coming in our city again for Christmas, so Thomas is planning to see her again. I'm still not complaining. But she asked if he wanted to go back to her city with her after Christmas, to spend New Year with her. Thomas said yes right away and was really excited when he told me. But I said no right away for 3 reasons. 1, I'm not even included in the plan. He wants to spend New Year with her and without me. 2, I don't want him to be alone with her in her apartment, even if Marie is now married. I don't trust her around my boyfriend and I know her husband won't stop her. 3, we already have plans with my friends, so I told Thomas he couldn't go and that we planned to spend the New Year together. He was really mad and told me it was important to him, because he never had the chance to visit Marie in her new city since she moved and it's a bigger city than ours and he really wanted to spend time with her. I got mad too and I told him I was really hurt by his attitude and I didn't like how Marie made him act and I wasn't comfortable with their friendship and if he really loves me he should care about my feelings and stop talking to her. When I said that, he called me manipulative and told me I always had a problem with the people he loves. Then he left and we didn't talk since then because he's at his brother's place. So do you think AITA for getting mad at my boyfriend because of his relationship with his best friend? Edit 1. I'm adding something I wrote in the comment because it is important and I should have said it from the start. I think I should have said it in my post. But Thomas and Marie were not 100% platonic when she still lived in our city. They had intercourse with the same guy twice because Thomas is bi, and even if Thomas swears he won't do anything with Marie, I still don't want them to be alone. Sorry. Edit 2. Thank you everyone for your comments. I try to read everything. At first people were really against me and considering me controlling, but I feel like more people understand my point now. I admit I shouldn't have said I wanted him to cut ties with her. I tried to answer all the questions I saw. I will come back tomorrow to read what I missed because it's really late where I am. I'm not American but really thank you again. I feel better now but I know I need to have a talk with Thomas. I'm not planning to break up or at least for now. Good night. I want to thank everyone for all the comments. I didn't expect to receive that much messages. I tried to read all of them. I noticed people were really split, with many NTA, YTA and ESH. I recognize it was bad that I told Thomas that I wanted him to cut ties with Marie, and I regret it. But I'm glad people also understand why I'm uncomfortable with Thomas and Marie relationship. I don't have a big update because I didn't have the occasion to talk to Thomas but I decided to write an update to clarify some things. So I will do that and at the end I will add a small update. The timeline. I started dating Thomas when he wasn't talking to Marie anymore. They stopped talking for over a year when I confessed to him. I thought they were really over and Thomas thought the same. I didn't expect her to come back into our life. Breaking up. Many people told me to break up like it's an easy decision. I love him and I know he loves me. Except for that we're great together and we never argue. Like some people noticed, I've been in love with Thomas for a long time. Before we started dating, I waited for the right time to confess for many reasons and one of them was Marie. Even if she's back now and I don't like it, it's not so easy to walk away from the best relationship I ever had. Marriage. Thomas and I talked about getting married someday. I told him at the beginning of the relationship it was something I wanted, and he said he wanted to but he didn't want to rush even though we know each other for a long time. We even talked about getting engaged after dating 3 years because it was a good timeline, and he agreed. The 3S, Thomas and Marie had S with the same guy at the same time in front of each other, but Thomas said he didn't have S with her. He said they were both focused on the guy. It happened before she moved to her new city and it happened twice. I also know Marie had them with her husband and other guys before she got married. I do trust Thomas and I don't think he will cheat on me, but I don't trust her and it makes me uncomfortable to imagine them spending a whole weekend together without me, because I don't want her to try something. His brother, Thomas, said I had a problem with people he loves because he's really close with his older brother, and his older brother doesn't like me. I know it's something that makes him sad. About Marie, some people didn't understand why I don't like Marie or why I don't trust her about my boyfriend. I even saw someone said I invented the threes to justify why I don't like her. That's not it at all. At first, I didn't want to add that detail because it makes it easier for people who know me or Thomas to recognize us, and I wanted to avoid that. Then I added it because I wanted people to understand that Thomas and Marie don't have a normal friendship because most people don't have a three with their best friend. I know people can have casual s and it doesn't mean anything. I never did that, but I can understand. It's not the main reason why I'm uncomfortable with Marie. I used to know her when she lived in our city. I saw her and how she acted with Thomas. Back then he acted different when he was with her. They were always together and she acted like they had a special relationship other people couldn't understand. Thomas was less open with me or mutual friends. He didn't have time anymore for his other friends. He acted like he was an extension of her in some ways. She was making all of the decisions. They were only doing stuff she likes. Their relationship seemed toxic to us, and I wasn't the only one who didn't like Marie because of that. I only learned about the three Thomas and Marie did after I started dating Thomas, because we had a discussion about our ex-relationships and he admitted it. It's something they kept secret. Before that, I had no idea they did something like that, so it's not why I didn't like Marie, but it's definitely one of the reasons I'm uncomfortable with their friendship now, especially if she invites him to spend a weekend with her and her husband. Small update. Yesterday I called Thomas but he didn't answer, so I texted him multiple times and he told me he was still angry and asked me to leave him alone for the day. I respected his wishes. I spent the afternoon trying to catch up on all the comments on my first post. More and more people convinced me that her plans for NY were suspicious, and Marie was probably trying to have another three with her husband and Thomas. So I messaged her to ask if we could talk. We're still FB friends, so I can contact her on Messenger. She was like, yeah, what's up, when I'm sure she knows about my arguments with Thomas, so I asked right away why she didn't invite me too for NY. She said Thomas told me you had other plans, and I told her it's weird to only invite one person when this person is in a serious relationship, and she didn't reply, so I asked, are you trying to have s with Thomas? She said, what, are you crazy? I'm married, so I told her I know you already had three with your husband, so I don't see how it's stopping you. Then she said, wait, he told you? I said yes, and she said I can't believe he told you that, and she stopped answering my messages after that. So I was really mad after that. I tried to call Thomas again but he didn't answer, and I went to bed crying, but I had an awful night. I missed him a lot and I just wanted him to come home. This morning Thomas called me. He was angry that I messaged Marie to ask her if she wanted to have s with him. I said I didn't want to talk about it on the phone and I wanted to see him to have a calm discussion. He said he will come home in the afternoon after lunch with his family, but he didn't want to argue anymore, and I said I didn't want to argue either. So now I'm waiting for him to come home. I'm really stressed about our talk, so I'm keeping all the advices that were given to me. I really don't want to break up with him and I hope he will understand how I feel.